Andreas?
Yeah.
Can you say something about time?
Time?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there is no time.
Here it was. What does that mean?
Well, actually, one really can't say anything about timelessness, but it's the experience of here and now which creates the impression of time, that something is happening. When I say there is no time, I don't mean the concept of time. Of course, the person can understand that the clock is conceptual, kind of. But it's the impression that something is happening now. That's time. That's just how it feels. It's a feeling that something is going on, and on the one hand that there is one moment, but on the other hand that there is a continuous happening. It's just how it feels. It's an instant impression of the person. I'm here and something happens. Something goes on. That's time.
Okay, well, you get the astronomical, scientific way of seeing things, how stars move around, they have their own time.
Yeah, but only apparently. That's the thing. The only thing that would experience something happening, time passing, as a sensed experience, this only is the person.
So that includes space.
That's exactly time and space. I'm here, you are over there. For the person, that's really how it feels. It really, I am here and you are over there.
Okay, but
And this is happening now.
when this is no longer here,
Yeah.
the moon is still there.
Well, who knows?
I would presume.
Who is presuming? Yeah, really. That's in the end, it's that simple.
Too simple to understand.
Absolutely. Yeah, because it's nothing to do with understanding or experiencing. Because when there is no one, so to speak, there's really no one who can say if there's a moon or not. I mean, it sounds so, yeah, of course there's a moon. I can see it, yeah, but yeah, I can see it, yeah, really? Not really. Yeah.
That is mental. Like, that's completely mental, isn't it? Because when you say he
No, it's normal.
When you were saying he presumed there's a moon, and you were saying whatever you were saying, I thought, but you surely presume you've got a home and still got to go back to. Then I thought
No.
you'd probably say no. Yeah.
I don't presume that. I just drive home and
The
be
body
there.
just gets in the car for no reason, not knowing there's a home to go to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's sad. You all know you have a home. I just sit in my That's how sad. Yeah, there's just no one there. Yeah.
But it's like if somebody asked you where are you going, you'd say home. But without any
Probably.
reality to that being the case, that there is you're going home.
Yes. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. It can't be imagined. Because the moment you start to imagine how that is, you will somehow personalize it. And that's weird then. It'll all end up with someone not knowing that there's a home. But it's just, this whole reality is unreal. So, but of course, there is no I that relies on that knowledge that there is a home. it's way more simple. Apparently, there's a home, and I'm just going to drive there tonight. It's very simple. Really.
It's funny you say it, and because I find it around here very difficult to find my way around. I get lost.
Mm.
The U underground took me about an hour. I left here yesterday. An hour to find the underground.
It's just around the corner.
I know it is. I know it sounds very stupid, but I knew if I didn't find it, I wouldn't get to my hotel. So I had to find it. I eventually found it.
Mm.
But what I'm saying is, the reality is you can get lost in this.
Oh, apparently
Dream.
this can happen. Yeah.
But I knew if I didn't find the thing and get the train, back to the hotel in the airport. I was like thinking, maybe I'm on the streets tonight. I'm not sure, but I eventually did find it.
Yeah.
But it's all a story. Yeah.
Well, it all was what seemed to have happened. It was wholeness as that, but it wasn't something real. And now, of course, reporting about it, it's a story.
Yeah.
It's not the truth in terms of this has really happened. It's just a story about what seemed to have happened. But this, walking around, not finding the underground, was it.
Yeah.
And in the end, it was pure luck that you found it.
Yeah. It was. I guess it was 2 tracks actually.
If wholeness would have wanted, it would still serve this building. Not really knowing, am I looking for the talk now or still for the underground?
That was weird. Huh? Weird appearances.
Kind of. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, what we talk about is not me not knowing anything. That's a very weird picture that the person gets. It's way more ordinary what we talk about here.
Mm.
I mean, apparently all the knowledge is there, but it's not real and it's undivided and it doesn't belong to anyone. It's not owned by anyone. Of course,
Yeah.
as I said, this driving home or driving to the place that's called home is just very ordinarily what happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I'm in a weird, though I might realize at times. I'm not in a weird state of, I don't know, I've no idea if I'm a home.
You're familiar with your area, then, or whatever.
Apparently. Not really, of course. But it's also not alien. The person would say if it's not familiar, it feels alien. But I'm also not walking through my hometown like
But if you went to China or somewhere, you might be.
I might be, yeah, but that's not my hometown. And I would regard it as totally appropriate to walk like that through China.
So would you say the person's just through seeking, that constant activity of seeking is just trying to gain more control? That's what it's all about.
Gain something. I mean, the idea with having control is still to be able to gain fulfillment through having more control. So it's always about me becoming a more fulfilled me. Whatever I think the tool is to be more in control, others maybe seek to let go of control, which is also controlling kind of. But I mean, the hope is still that I become more fulfilled.
Because it seems to me, and this might not be the case for every me, but at least for me, how it is here is there's some, like, it's almost unconscious, but I'm realizing it now, is like the hope is if I gain enough control, then I'll be really free. But all it does is,
Yeah, of course, if you can control anything, your thoughts, your feelings, other people, then won't need to have unpleasant experiences. And to have pleasant experiences is which fulfills me. That's the dream. So yeah,
well, I think
it's a logical
if I gain
idea.
enough control, I can stop worrying and needing to control.
Exactly, because then you can just control everything you want, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a logical idea. Yeah, why not?
It doesn't work, obviously.
No, it's part of an illusion, namely that there is someone who could be in control or not. I mean, in a way, all the me has is itself. So all ideas or about every teaching is actually perfectionize oneself. So the me experiences itself as I'm able to control. So maybe if I'm in total control, that will work. So the me experiences itself as the observer, partly. So the idea is maybe if I become the total observer, this will bring fulfillment. So sometimes the me experiences itself as a creator. So some people say, if I become the total creator of everything, maybe this will serve. I'm already awake, but if I'll become really awake, maybe it's always taking itself as the answer. I'm here, I'm unfulfilled. Everything that I have to play with is myself, so I take me in a perfectionized way, hoping that this works. I'm already present, but maybe if I'm really present, I become fulfilled. There is no one. Doesn't work. Nothing works.
Now this is a super mindfuck to think if I go up to the extreme with an illusion, it may change the situation. It's a completely
Yes, kind of. I know. I mean,
spinning wheel with the head, spinning with the head, the thought.
absolutely. And I mean, apparently, it keeps it going because it doesn't work. Because for the person, the conclusion is, I'm just not good enough. I'm just not present enough. I'm just not good enough. Yeah. But it's just it's experiences. Again,
it's the conditioning of man, or how people get conditioned in education, in school.
Oh well, yeah, I wouldn't call it a conditioning. The thing is, that's just how the me lives. Very simplified. There is no way out or anything. It's not wrong. That's just how it feels. And in the end, it's not really conscious. It's not that there is a real me that's consciously thinking about itself and all that stuff. It just feels like that. I'm someone, it's about something, and I have to be in a certain way, and then there are a lot of books which suggest a lot of it's very, it's not that there is a real me that is making this all up. It's also just what happens in the end. Or one could say the funny thing is that it's not really how it feels within that experience, because the person, it always feels as if I have to do it. It's right, of course, and it's useful, and I really gain. This really helps me to be more aware, and that's just a dream. There's nothing wrong with that.
So I'm dreaming now that I'm looking at these curtains over there, And yesterday I didn't see the different colors. I saw only the beige one side, and now it's got a sort of a stripe that's quite nice. And then I also noticed that the flowers have changed.
Really?
Yes, they've changed. They're starting to die a little more.
Oh.
And there's a fly on one right now as well, which you don't see. He's crawling all over the place. And the colors are changing. The colors in these flowers are changing before my eyes, before these apparent eyes. And yeah, there's an awareness and a thought that also occurs with it from this avatar method from 40 years ago from a guy called Harry Palmer. He created this method called avatar. And it was an exercise that said every day or every whatever, whenever you think of it, notice something that you haven't seen before. And so you look around the room and you look to the right one. You have to notice something on the right side, on the left side, in front of you, behind you, and then you had to come back to the middle and be aware of all the surroundings at once.
Yeah.
And I thought that was at least interesting, even though I knew it's not for me. I mean, I didn't know that either, but apparently everything. It seemed to be, and it still does right now, seem to be something interesting. Anyway, it's interesting.
Yes.
So you don't know what's behind you right now, do you?
Well, I don't know what's in front right now.
Exactly.
That's a good
That's a
answer.
good one. That's a good one again. I was waiting for one of those.
So, I wasn't supposed to say something.
No, of
No.
course not.
No. All right.
Goodness me, never.
Yeah.
Curiosity, is it a me thing or is it?
Well, it's not real. There is no real curiosity.
But Andreas, that was interesting. You know, she described all what she'd seen in her, that lady in that whatever you call it, and you said I wasn't supposed to say something. The me energy would have a pressure on you to say, "Oh, I have something to say." Yeah, but you still ask that question. It's funny, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No.
No.
You're coughing out and you're
Well, you thought something like it doesn't make sense.
No, but I'm saying, did you feel a pressure to give a response to what she said? No.
Well, at least there was the possibility of there being a pressure.
Okay.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
But she said no, and then I was fine.
Thank you.
The Buddhists say everything is vergänglich.
Mm-hmm. Transient.
Transit, what's coming,
Transcend.
Coming and going.
coming and going. That,
Transitory.
that nothing is ever stays.
Yeah.
And you can see the death and decay happening in front of your eyes, which I can see in the flowers right now.
Yes.
Leave those flowers alone.
Yeah, that's a personal way to try to describe unrealness.
Yeah.
That's their explanation, basically.
Mhm.
Things are unreal because they don't last, which is just a concept. And the personal experience. Things come and go. So, what this message is saying is that this is never coming and going because it never becomes real, not even for a split second. Well,
Yeah.
that's how they try to
Yeah.
explain unrealness.
Yeah.
No connection to
Mm.
what's being said here.
So could you explain unrealness to us now?
Well, it's not really explainable. It's just said that the sense of realness, which is the awareness, isn't real. There's always this awareness which says, I'm here, I'm real, I'm aware,
Mm.
and within my awareness, things come and go.
Mm-hmm.
But that which is aware, that's not real. But that is the sense of realness. So when that collapses, there's no experience of coming and going.
So that's a pure sense. Even though it doesn't make sense
Yes.
for no one. Right.
Well, that's just how it feels.
Yeah.
Real. I'm here. I'm real. And in a way, also the experience of the person is I came. I have been born. I'm now here. And somewhere there is this theoretical knowledge that I will die at some point.
Mm.
So that's exactly how it seems to be with all the other things that it's aware of. But it's all it's conceptual a bit.
Yeah.
You have to think about it, and then you have to explain why it's unreal. But the actual experience is still realness. I'm here, and the mountain is now here, for example. And of course, theoretically, I know in hundreds or thousands of years, even the mountain will be gone. That's why it's not real. But the present experience is there is a mountain, and I'm here. Or there's chairs, and that's what I mean. It's actually just conceptual. And then, of course, also a teaching follows. Because things come and go, don't rely on them. And if you rely on your feelings or on your partner, because they are not real, because they can go anytime. But that's all conceptual. I mean, coming from a personal experience and then turning it into a concept.
What do you think of like enduring history? You know, like you have famous people. Say we're in Germany, and Mozart is at the back, and on the negative side, and you might have Hitler. You know, all these names that have remained in history. But that's just memories. Energy producing memory. Yeah?
Well, it's just unknowable, whatever, wholeness. I don't have any answer to that.
Yeah, it's like what I got one of your books there last night, and you had this guy I think he was a Christian mystic, as far as I can see.
Ah, yeah.
Eckhart, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Meister Eckhart.
Like I've seen him before. Before I actually was amazed that you actually had him in the book.
Hmm.
So he's been in the memory of the Christian mindset for years. Like, what's that? Is that like it's just
Well, I just
It just
use
seems to be
him
a
as
lasting memory.
a sidekick, basically.
what's that?
I just use him as a sidekick.
Okay.
I'm sorry. No, it's just I don't have an answer to it.
Yeah.
It's just
But is it like he was apparently here in the 1300s, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even an expert on him.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah. It's totally
It's
within
just
the
interesting
story.
how that memory has lasted for in our we're in whatever century we're in now.
Yeah, one could say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's apparently
What's happening?
amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was impressed. I wasn't an expert of that, but there were just some things, and I didn't expect that out of Christian mysticism. But usually this is always connected to this Hindu tradition and this Sanskrit stuff. But there was someone saying in the 1300s in the middle of Germany something like,
Yeah.
there is no God and there is no existence. And I thought that's quite cool in a
I
way.
enjoyed it. I actually managed to read the whole book on the way on the train in about half an hour. It was a very enjoyable read. Like.
Yeah, but yeah. But it doesn't have much meaning for me, so I don't. In the end, I don't know what he meant. I don't know what he said. I mean, there's also a lot of stuff he said that's very complicated. And I guess he was just doing his professional job, which is thinking about theological questions. So I have no idea about him, actually. But I just took some of the sentences and they were basically sounded very close to this, at least,
Yeah.
if not very direct.
That's good.
But I said it's all not coming from knowing, or it's just what seemed to have happened. Yeah, at the beginning, actually, there was just this idea to write comments, and then it seemed to be so clear that I couldn't even comment on it because it was just
Spark something.
saying that there is no God and no existence. I mean, what to say?
Where I come from, God is big. He's big news. In Ireland, he's up there on the pedestal.
Who?
God.
God. Ah, yeah. Yeah.
Here as well.
He's very strong. In Germany, you have the Protestant version. In Ireland, we have the Catholic version.
Mm.
Like,
You still have the real. The
and we
real
actually
stuff.
we have the Catholics and the Protestants fighting in Ireland as well.
Ah, all right. I mean, as long as you can believe in God, it's actually a very elegant religion. It's very simple. You don't have to think much.
Yeah.
There's just this one answer to everything. It's elegant, not very complicated. But you need someone who's able to believe in it.
The Bible is a very acceptable book all over the world. It seems like everyone thinks it's the Word of God.
Yeah, that's.
It's a concept. I can see now as a concept, but it took me a long time to let it go.
Yeah, I mean, that's the funny thing with beliefs. I mean, you can just basically believe everything, and theoretically, everything could also be the truth.
Mm.
It's very hard to or to disprove a
Yeah.
belief. If someone just believes that,
That's
what can you say against it, really?
yeah, it's so complex because you can't, you just can't, it's like putting a wrench into a bunch of gears or something. You just can't do it.
Well, no, I mean, just if you say, I believe in God, how can you? The only thing that can be replied, yeah, I don't believe in God, which would just be another belief. But how can you? It's all right.
But what happens? People try to convince each other that they have a better belief.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. It has to constantly be reaffirmed. And yeah, of course. It's part of the illusion.
Andreas, could I ask a question about alcohol? I find alcohol maybe an escape. I'm not sure. It also could be shuts the energy down a bit. What do you think? Like, can alcohol be an avoidance from the me, or
Well, yeah, it can be turned into a method. Yeah, of course. Apparently, only apparently, of course. Yeah.
avoidance from pain? Like, say, I think
Yeah.
as a human being, we probably avoid pain. We prefer pleasure.
Yeah, I think it's to have a more easy experience. And usually that's when the personal story isn't as much in the foreground. I think some people try to use it like that. Like spirituality, you know, you want to come to this experience where the personal story isn't as burdening anymore. You can just be unburdened, so to speak. Oh yeah. And I think some people try to reach this with alcohol.
Have you ever been to Ireland? we have
Well, it
we
has
have
a,
pubs, and we go to the pub and we forget about life a lot.
So yeah, I think for some people this can turn into something like a method, of course, to work through the week, and then on the weekend that's what life is about, and then that state is celebrated as if it is somehow valuable compared to other things that you need to do, for example. Oh yeah, of course. I mean, the person lives in the illusion, or apparently it's a story, but the person can use everything, kind of. But yeah, I think it's
I think
a bit
in
of
Germany,
release from the burden of one's story, daily life, all the problems. Yeah.
in Germany, you drink a lot of beer as well. I think. Yeah. Maybe not as much as Ireland, but you do.
I mean, the thing is, it's not the drinking of it, but the me would try to use it. But of course, without there being anyone, they could still be drinking alcohol or going to work or whatever. but
Yeah.
there wouldn't be the illusion that it can be used for anything. But oh yeah, I mean, most people experience themselves to be someone, so most people think that they can use life or use certain things in life, and they really think that
To make themselves better.
absolutely. I mean, it's an illusion that anything is more valuable than something else, or it would just be a story that the person lives in. Then,
May I ask him a question? Yes, of course.
yeah, why not?
Do they still play live music in the pubs in Ireland? Do they? Like live music there?
You've been, yeah?
Yes.
You're
I
impressed.
was born in Ireland.
All right.
Well, no, my mother. No, my grandmother. 2 generations back.
So didn't hear the answer. Do they?
Yes, they do. Some pubs, yeah. Music and drinking.
It's so
Singing
loud.
and
It's so loud you can't hear the
Live.
person next to you. Forget it.
Live
So there
music.
you can just
Live music, they play music and sing.
Yeah, in the pub. But I see last night in Germany you do the same thing, I think. I see guys
No, it's loud.
singing and drinking beer last night.
Music.
That's Munich.
The music is loud. Oh, yeah. The Hofbräuhaus, genau. Into the Hofbräuhaus.
Yes.
Maybe Germans and Ireland, we have similar culture.
I don't know if it's just those two countries especially who have this culture, but yeah, yes, we are special.
It's like
The beer rule.
the beer
Rule.
the beer root.
Rule.
Root beer.
Root beer, okay, yeah.
I mean, in that sense, there's nothing wrong with it because that's within the personal dream. That's what the person is doing anyway. So to just somehow get away from the suffering of being someone. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you talk about suffering,
Or the illusion of suffering.
yeah, it can cause a lot of well,
Well,
in our country, yeah, it's so-called
Yeah.
suffering. You kind of this famous word, alcoholism, and
yeah, well, it's only a
yeah, it's a
it's
word.
only a parent problem.
Marriage breakups, people losing
Yeah,
their
I mean, if you
businesses.
say these are real problems, you already
Other
have an
stories.
ideal in
Yeah.
mind. So it's only a problem in contrast to something else that you imagine of how it is supposed to be.
Mm.
So yeah, but that's already a story. There's just no answer to it.
I used to listen a lot to a guy called Alan Watts, an English guy. Have you heard of him? And he
Yeah.
died at quite a young age. Cirrhosis of his liver.
Mm.
But one of the things I used to love about him was he was usually drunk when he was he was talking. Did you know that?
No, well, yeah, I'm sure I've heard
He,
it. Yeah.
he
I didn't
actually
know that he
said,
was
I'm a
drunk."
better person when I'm drunk. I'm
Yeah.
easier to get on with. Alan Watts.
Alan Watts, yeah.
Very good.
So,
Good story.
yeah.
It's a great book. It's
And
called The
what does this have to do with me? Just to be- Why are we talking about this now?
I don't know.
All right.
Well, yeah. Well, for me, it's my experience. Alcohol is a big part of my life.
Thanks.
For you as well, yeah.
I don't have a life. My life isn't divided in parts.
That's good. That's worth the trip to Munich.
There's just no answer to it. There's just no answer to what happens or what seems to be happening. and nothing is right or wrong in that sense, but it just also doesn't have a goal. There is no real how it's supposed to be. There's just what seems to be happening.
Yeah.
Without anyone really being in control. Good, bad, pleasant, unpleasant. No one knows really.
We think we know, like, if you go back to the Bible, it says Adam and Eve, they wrote, the knowledge of good and evil. In Genesis, they say it's the beginning.
Yeah.
And humanity had this thing.
Yeah, they became self-aware. That's the
Yeah.
story. Yeah.
Self-conscious.
Yeah. They saw that they are naked, so that's becoming self-aware. Yeah.
This is good, this is evil.
Yeah. It's a story.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Manipulation.
About manipulation?
Yes.
No. Well, what's the question?
The question without me, I cannot be manipulated.
No, not really. No. Because there isn't anything that wants to be achieved.
Yes.
I think manipulation always has something to do with a goal or an outcome. And there just is no wish for a certain outcome. So in that sense, I don't see how manipulation would be possible really.
It didn't function.
Yeah, it's just impossible.
Impossible.
Yeah. I'd say.
But you are not, you don't want to prove it also.
This? Oh no, it's impossible.
It's
Oh. There's nothing to prove. And there is no one to whom one could prove anything. I mean, sitting in a room, but doesn't need proof really. It would be purely conceptual. To want anyone to, I don't know, agree to the idea that there is no one or something. This would have nothing to do with this message. You can't.
Not with this message, but maybe with other example, belief.
Well, I've no. No, I don't.
Not proof. Das heißt prüfen.
Test. Yeah.
Is without me, there's no.
Testing.
Yeah.
Who or what?
Yeah. It's not impossible. And someone says something, and he wants you to manipulate or bring you to believe it. Then you
Yeah. Well, not
Question.
question it. Yeah.
No.
Maybe there would be, but it's I can't answer that really because I'm not really believing anything anyway. So I don't. Yeah.
Okay. That's the answer.
Yeah. Usually I just stick to what I already believe.
What's that?
I don't know. The world is a ball, and I don't know. Simple stuff. I just stick to that. Democracy is good. Stuff like that.
But maybe you don't realize it because there is no one. Like you watch a commercial for new vacuum cleaner and you just call and you don't realize it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's this instant movement. That's what I need. Yeah. Yeah, not so far, but yeah, whatever. Really, I've no idea.
You don't do the cleaning at home.
I do, but
You don't need a vacuum cleaner.
I have one.
Oh, okay.
Of course, there was this nice commercial. I have 5 or 6 meanwhile.
Vacuum cleaner salesman.
I really have no idea how this life functions. That's just what happens, really. And of course, if the commercials, I don't know, unconsciously manipulate me because they have these nice colors and have, I don't know, understood which sound, which tone of the voice triggers the wish to buy it. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. Really. But of course, I mean, this one manipulation, that's in the end impossible. Like, if you do this, you'll be a more happy me. So there's just no resonance. Well, there's just nothing there which feels addressed even.
I think the other thing as well is like, for me as a me, I'd be on guard against someone manipulating me because I'd think if I behave in a way that wouldn't be what I want to do, then I'll miss out on doing something that I would have been doing that would have been better. But there's no sense there of any loss of fulfillment anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So let's say in the story, if someone gets you to do something, well, what was the alternative? Like that's what if somebody got you to do something because they manipulated you.
Yeah, I think maybe it is happening. Now that I think about it, maybe I have a lot in my life actually. But yeah.
I'm saying, well, if you do that behaviour that they kind of manipulated you to do, let's say, what was the alternative anyway? Like you wouldn't feel you missed out because you could have done something better.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, it's really.
So you wouldn't need to be on guard in that sense. You know what I mean? Like the person would be on guard against manipulation.
Well, the person is on guard about not doing something that will bring unfulfillment all the time. Yeah, of course, but really, whatever. Yeah, whatever. I don't claim to live in a especially clean or clear way or something. I mean, this just is what happens. There's no whatever. Really, sorry, whatever.
But there can still be the try to change something.
Oh yeah, apparently. Oh yeah, of course. But only if it would be what happens. There would never be a story like, oh, this is what I want to change, telling to myself and then following that mission. But of course, it's happening all the time. life apparently happening. Opening the window, closing it. It's kind of all constantly changing something. But it's just what happens for no deeper reason, not to fulfill someone. That's the only illusion, that there is someone needing to do change or to do life in order to become fulfilled. That's the only illusion. Otherwise, there's just life happening, and there is nothing else than, I don't know, eating and earning money and having a beer in the evening or not, or watching TV and going to a meeting. And
Nothing wrong.
what else? That's what seems to be happening, and that's it. Including all the thoughts and feelings, just how it already is. There's nothing else.
You don't say TV watching is wasting time.
No, because I'm not there.
Okay.
So I don't want to use life anyway, so you can't waste it. Of course not.
Or you can only waste it.
Yeah, it's all for nothing, of course. Yeah. There's no possibility to use life or to use one's time. What for? To become what? Happy or fulfilled or
Real.
Hmm?
Real.
real? Oh yeah, well,
Could we get that as an excuse? For example, if my girlfriend came home and said you should wash up the dishes, and I said no, Andreas told me it's already fine that way.
so it has nothing to do with what's being said here, but of course this it could be an attempt, yeah. Yeah. But it might fire back. I heard sentences like, "You can do the dishes because you are no one, and it doesn't disturb you anyway." So don't start arguing with that. Oh, of course, it's the same thing. The person would want to use life to be better off, and in the same way, it wants to use this message because it thinks it's a concept that it can use to be better off. And that's all right, it's inevitable. The person will try to use this message, but it has nothing to do with what's being said here.
Mhm.
So, but of course, it sounds very easy. Oh, there is no one, I'm not guilty. Just the other one who's blaming me because she still is someone, but I'm no one. It's nothing to do with this.
This radical kind of uncompromising message is very rare, though, isn't it? Like, no,
Apparently, in a way, it's
Apparently.
everywhere, but I know, but yes.
it seems very rare. I don't know.
Yeah,
Did-
yeah.
I don't want to go naming names, but there's about probably one hand that could say or not teaching, expressing it.
Kind of, yeah. That's what seems to be, for no real reason, but that's just what seems to
And
be.
it just seems to be in the last about 30 years where Tony Parsons kind of started it off, as far as I can see. And I don't know. For me, he's a very loud voice with clarity.
Oh, yeah, yes, apparently.
Yeah. Which could be a story, but I don't know. It's interesting.
Well, it is a story, of course.
Yeah. Dale Waskin, the guy that was interviewing you, you've all these guys kind of muddying the waters a bit, as far as I can see. For those of us that are those of us that are on YouTube, right? It can be a little bit of a minefield, watching all this going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but there is no. I think I know what you mean. The thing is, there's just no answer to it really. Of course, there are apparently it's all a story, but apparently there are just many people who assume themselves to be someone, and they of course present personal messages, and that's wholeness, and that's just what seems to be happening. But of course, for the seeker, this will always sound attractive to some extent, because of course the seeker just feels addressed. There's always the possibility that maybe there's something to it too. So to a certain degree it's almost impossible for the seeker to be really clear about that. It's just how it is. And there's nothing right or wrong about that. I mean, in the end, there's nothing wrong with anything, and it'll also just turn out to be useless and futile and nothing. Though there may be, or in whatever teaching, there is the claim that it helps and that it is useful, and, or it'll just turn out to be equally useless, like this.
I suppose I'm like, as a seeker, I've been on YouTube a lot and watching yourself, Tony, Kenneth Madden. To me, the three of you are like the Holy Trinity of it. Put you on the pedestal. But then you have all this other stuff going on as well. It sort of muddies the waters, And well,
Yeah, it doesn't really.
I feel like I'm
not-
negotiating through all this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'd say not really. There is the water can't be really muddy,
Okay.
and not really, because if it is a personal message, of course, for a while you might be attracted to the moments of clarity that you get. But as I said, they'll just become unattractive. Everything becomes unattractive to throw your attention on, because there is nothing there. And as long as there is a personal energy, as I said, there will be some attraction to personal teachings somehow, at least potentially. Yeah. But it'll just become uninteresting. I mean, if it's a personal teaching, even this non-dual message, it's about something. And my impression is that it seems to be a lot about these moments of clarity, understanding. And of course, then you get those small high moments of, there is no one. Yeah, there is no one. You get it also. Okay, but when the seeking energy just runs out, it's just unattractive. So it's not really muddying anything. It's just another, apparently, if that's the case, it's just another personal teaching that's only attractive as long as there's a seeker. My impression is really it doesn't muddy anything.
Yeah.
Not really.
It's possible. Well, it's like almost. Sorry, he's still asking a question.
No, that's fine.
It's like obviously there's no. Well, I'm only saying obviously because I've heard it so many times. There's no conditions for liberation or for the apparent dropping of the illusion.
Yeah, there is no such thing actually as liberation.
But I mean, the sense of being a person could fall away in a spiritual teaching
Oh yes, absolutely.
just as much as it could here.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like me being here talking to what would be like considered nothing or a clear communication doesn't increase my chances at all, does it?
Yes. What chances for what actually?
For the illusion to fall away.
Which illusion? Yeah. Should be clear by now. Yeah. Yeah, no, this is it. That's just what happens. That's the clarity. A chair is absolutely and clearly a chair itself. That's the clarity. There is no intellectual clarity about non-duality or something. What happens is just absolutely clearly itself. That's the clarity. It has nothing to do with any kind of conceptual clarity or knowledge. There is no clarity about non-duality. That's impossible. That's just another idea. So this is just clearly itself. For no one, of course. There isn't anyone seeing this clarity, but that's all there is. Always, so to speak, everywhere. Everything just very clearly is itself, uncompromisingly. Even a teaching in that sense is uncompromisingly what it is, an apparent teaching, which of course never teaches anyone and stuff like that. But it's the same clarity, but it's never conceptual or something. There's no.
And it has nothing to do with words.
No. No, words, in that sense, words are just clearly words, but they don't carry a deeper reality, which would be called the truth. For the person, there's the word and the meaning of the word, the truth. No, it's just words. Words are just themselves, like thoughts and feelings and chairs and bodies and actions. Yeah.
Still think, sorry.
You can admire a word also. Oh,
At what?
it's freedom
Admire?
also. Bewundern.
No, there's in that sense no admiration of anything.
Yeah. Freedom, for example, it might be such a big.
Yeah, it's an idea. Oh, absolutely. The idea that there is something called freedom, and that's meaningful, and that's what life is about. But it's already thinking oneself into this abstract reality. Which freedom? What do you mean? There is no such thing. No. But of course, the person almost constantly operates in these things it just makes up: liberation, freedom, meaning, say all those things. Yeah, that it can't see, but what life seems to be about. Because it can't be about this. I mean, come on. But if this is talking about this liberation thing, that's what we talk about. So, liberation or freedom. And it's, yeah.
It's empty.
Absolutely. Those just don't exist, those things.
The me loves excitement, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, AI is going to take over the world and business.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, it gets high on ideas and thinks that gives it something. Yeah.
Matryoshka puppet. There is always another one hidden.
Yes, but underlying there is this hope that one day it'll come to the end, when the seeking can end. But until then, life seems to be a process or a path, and there is one moment after the other in which you have to be in the right way. That's basically another. Hoping that it gets deeper and coming closer to the point, but no, it apparently just goes on, seeking, and in a weird way, it feels as if I'm coming closer, at least sometimes. But it's just the same loop, apparently. Another moment where to seek in. A new situation. What does this offer to me? Next moment, okay, what's here for me now? Next moment, what can I get from this moment? And the impression is that it goes deeper, or that it collects wisdom or collects fulfillment by understanding something, by having nice experiences. And nothing happens actually.
It doesn't always go deeper either. Sometimes it going in the negative side where you end up thinking we're doomed or whatever. It's like
Yeah, it's
either
basically
positive or negative.
basically it switches.
Yeah.
It's basically switches between I'm almost there and
Or I'm
I'll
almost-
never get it.
I'm gone. I'm finished.
Yeah.
Like searching for a seed in an onion. Like
Yeah,
it
that's
is already the onion, and
yeah. There is no.
nothing inside it come out.
Yeah,
Oh,
but there's also no. I mean, this whole idea is strange, to be on the path and to either dig deeper and deeper, or to peel the onion, to accumulate wisdom or clarity. Or it never happens. It doesn't have to. This is not part of a path. It's wholeness. It's everything. It won't be better. There will never be a moment in the future when it'll be really more whole and complete. When it will feel more whole and complete and be. This is it. It won't get better. Impossible. Never. It never did get better, and it will never become better. It's just this. Woohoo!
It's a hopeless project. It's hopeless, but still
Yeah, some kind of, yeah, exactly.
I can't put my hands on it.
It's beautifully hopeless.
You know that idea that the me kind of has, even when things feel bad, of this has to be good for something? You were talking about it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wants to say, well, this must be good for something. I can't even do that at the moment.
Yeah, cool.
No, but I just feel horrendous that there's just absolutely no possibility of anything other than this. I know you would say this is already complete or whatever, but to me it's absolutely not. And I can't invent any story to it, like, oh, well, this is good for something, like,
Yes, so,
then I'm just left with my own presence. I
well,
suppose.
only apparently. But yeah, that's what seems to be happening, and it's perfect and whole and complete and juicy and total.
Juicy!
Have you seen his tattoos?
For no one.
Have you seen his tattoos?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, without there being anyone knowing that it is all of that, it just is all of that.
I love you, Andreas. I really do.
So I think that's a good. Or is there anyone who disagrees? So, all right. So there is no message. There is no teaching. There is no state of clarity or no state within the illusion or outside of the illusion or stuff like that. So all there is what seems to be happening, and it's just purely and plainly and simply itself. It's just this for no one. This without being experienced. Already, there is no experience. So it won't get better. It's this. Thank you very much. There is no one.